This is Venkata Swami and working as an associate professor in Marri Laxman Reddy Institute of Technology and Management, and also additional control of examinations in Mlritm. Today, now we are going to discuss about our engineering chemistry subject, Unit 3 module, that is polymeric materials. So here, these are the topics like polymers, types of polymers, polymerization definition, and what is the degree of polymerization, what is the mechanism of polymerization, what are the different types of polymerizations, and as well as we will learn about the plastic materials also and the types like thermoplastic resin and thermosetting plastic materials. Similarly, rubbers here. What is the rubber concept and its classification, like natural rubber, and second one is artificial rubber, and which is also called as synthetic rubbers. Next one, elastomers topics, that's characteristics, properties, and the preparation, the properties and applications of Buna rubber and butyl rubber and Tycol rubber. So these are the very important elastomers which we are going to learn in Unit 3 module. And at the same time, one of the most important topic we are going to discussing in this Unit 3 module, that's conducting polymers, is characteristics, properties of conducting polymers. Next, classification and applications of the various conducting polymers which we are using in industrial side. And at the same time, biodegradable polymers, their concepts and advantages and examples. So these are the topics we are going to discussing in Unit 3 module, that is polymeric materials. Next one, so the Unit 3 module, the name is polymeric materials. So before we are going to discussing about the polymeric materials, general things from our daily life, we are using many polymeric materials in our daily life. But we don't know what are the chemical compounds, what are the chemical reagents involved in the particular polymeric materials and how it is formed. So behind the concept for the formation of polymers, first of all, the polymer word, which is derived from the Greek, two Greek words. One is the poly and one another is the mer. And the poly means many and the mers means units or parts. So that the polymer is nothing but many units or many parts which are combined together in the presence of temperature, in the presence of pressure, in the presence of catalyst. A joint molecule is formed. A high molecular weight of compound is formed. A large substance is formed, which is known as polymer, and this phenomena we can call as polymerization. So once again, I am repeating, guys, the polymer word which is derived from the two Greek words. One is the poly and one is the mer. Poly means here many, and the mers means units or parts. And finally, the polymer word we can define as, so many units or many parts of the chemical compounds which are combined together in the presence of temperature, in the presence of pressure, in the presence of catalyst. So all these, the many units or many parts of the chemical compounds which are combined together, and it will form a giant molecule, a large molecular weight of compound, which is said to be polymer, and this phenomena is called as polymerization. So that we can define in another manner, that is macromolecules. The polymer is nothing but macromolecules which is formed by the repeated linkage of large number of smaller molecules. And these are the many polymeric materials we can use it in automobiles and defense categories and electrical goods and the computer components, etc. So polymers are macromolecules, or we can also call it as giant molecule of higher molecular weight compound. The polymer is nothing but higher molecular weight of compound, and which is formed by the repeating linkage of large number of smaller molecules, which are called as monomer. So this is the one of the most important definition you have to learn. Monomer. Monomer is nothing but which are the static material for the synthesis of polymer. Monomers. Mono is nothing but single. A single unit or single parts of the chemical compound will act as a monomer. But the thing is, one compound or one reagent to act as a monomer, definitely it should be consisting of two reactive sites or two bonding sites. Then only that compound will act as a monomer. And such type of many monomers will combine together with each other in the presence of temperature, in the presence of pressure, in the presence of catalyst. A macromolecule will be formed, a giant molecule will be formed, a higher molecular weight of substance is formed, which is called as polymer. Nothing but monomers will lead to the formation of polymer. Monomers is nothing but single units. Polymer is nothing but many units. It's a macromolecules, not micro. Micro is nothing but it is a very smallest molecule. Macro, many molecules which are present in the polymer. That is the reason we are calling as a polymer is a macromolecule which is formed by the cross linkages with respect to the monomers. That's good. Next one, classification of the polymers. So before we are going to discussing classification, one of the most important point here, a degree of polymerization. Degree of polymerization we should know. So polymerization, what is the meaning of polymerization? Polymerization is nothing but it is a simple chemical reaction in which the monomers are same or different. The monomers are same or different. And during the reaction, during the process of formation of a polymer, there will be a chance by eliminating of a smaller molecules, or there will be a chance without eliminating of a smaller molecules. And finally, it will lead to the formation of a giant molecule, a macromolecule, or a large molecular weight of compound is said to be polymer, and this phenomena is called as polymerization. Understood? Second one, degree of polymerization. Degree of polymerization is nothing but the number of monomers repeated in a polymeric chain. The degree of polymerization nothing but the number of RLs, the repeating unit of a polymeric chain. Repeating unit of a polymeric chain is called as monomer, but number of repeating units in a polymeric chain or the number of repeating units of a monomer in a polymeric chain is called as degree of polymerization. So that the degree of polymerization, in order to understand about the degree of polymerization, first of all, you need to know about what is the concentration of the monomers. If you know the concentration of the monomers, you can easily tell about the particular, what is the degree of polymerization of the particular polymer. So that the degree of polymerization is nothing but the number of repeating units of a polymeric chain is called as degree of polymerization, and the degree of polymerization will be depends on the concentration of monomers. For example, you take a polyethylene is the best polymer. So polyethylene is formed by ethylene monomer. So ethylene here, ethylene we are taking here, ethylene CH2 double bond CH2 is a monomer. From in this monomer, so we will get here, what is that? Polymer. So initially we are taking here N, if you are take this N moles of ethylene, if you take N moles of ethylene, then what is the degree of polymerization? The degree of polymerization is nothing but N. So that the degree of polymerization we can represent it by small n. The degree of polymerization can be represented by small n, and that will be depends upon the concentration of monomers. If I take the 2 moles of concentration of ethylene, then the degree of polymerization is N value is 2. If you have 3 moles of ethylene molecule you take, then the degree of polymerization is 3. If you take this 100 moles of this ethylene, then degree of polymerization is 100. So that the degree of polymerization is completely depends upon this, the concentration of or number of moles of monomers. That is the concept of degree of polymerization. So based on the degree of polymerization, we can also classify these polymers in different categories. So let's discuss. And this is the classification of polymers with examples. See, based on the source and based on the availability of the polymers, we can classify it in 3 categories. One is the natural polymers, second one is the semi-synthetic polymers, next one is synthetic polymers, the examples. Next one, second classification is based on the structure, whether the structure of the polymeric chain is a linear straight chain or branched side chain, is it right, or cross-linked polymers. So based on the linear, based on the branch, and based on the cross-linked, so we can classify the polymers in 3 different categories based on the structure of polymeric chain. One more classification is done, that is based of the reaction mode of polymerization. Based on the reaction mode. So how the monomers are going to be combining, how the reaction is going on. So based on the reaction mode, so the polymers we can classify in different categories, that is addition polymerization, addition polymers, or condensed polymers, or copolymers. So these are the different categories of polymers that will be done based on the what is that reaction mode. And next one is in addition polymers we will discuss homopolymers and copolymers. Later we will discuss in coming classes. Next one, based on the molecular forces. Based on the molecular forces also we can classify it. There is one is the elastomers, one is the fibers, one is the thermoplastic resins materials, and second one is the thermosetting resin materials, and we will briefly discuss in next one. So classification of polymers which is based on the source of availability. There is a natural polymers, and second one is semi-synthetic polymers. Next one is synthetic polymers. We know there is a natural polymers is nothing but the polymers which is obtained from the nature, like the plants and the animals. And the best example for this starch and the cellulose and the rubbers and the proteins. These are the best example for the polymers which we are getting from the nature, like the plants and animals. Second classification, the semi-synthetic polymers. So semi-synthetic polymers are nothing but these are derived from the naturally occurring polymers and as well as undergo which are further chemical modification. That's why the best example for the semi-synthetic polymers are there's a cellulose nitrate and the cellulose acetate. These are the semi-synthetic polymers. Next one, synthetic polymers, or we can also call as human-made or man-made polymers or artificial polymers. So these are the polymers that we can derive in the laboratories, the many industrial laboratories, and also we can call as artificial polymers or human-made polymers. And use it in industries and various dairy products. For example, nylon 6,6 and polyether or polyvinyl chloride or polyacetylene or polybutadiene. So whatever number of used number of polymers are there, we can derive on the industrial side or in laboratories. And the next slide is based on the structure of monomeric chain. Based on the structure of monomer, that's a linear polymers and the branched chain polymers and the cross-linked polymers. See, linear polymers. Linear polymer is nothing but the monomeric chain is completely linear. It's a straight chain monomers, which are containing long and straight chain falls into this category. For example, polyvinyl chloride, polyvinyl cyanide, polybutadiene. Yes, so these are the many number of example for this linear polymers, and we can use it for this for making of pipes. What is a PVC? PVC pipe. Generally, we are used to call as a PVC pipes, polyvinyl chloride pipes. Second one, branched side chain polymers. When linear chains of polymer form branches, then such polymers are categorized as a branched side chain polymers. For example, these are the best example for this low density polyethylene chains. There will be two categories of polyethylene, high density polyethylene and low density polyethylene are there based on the molecular weight of the polyethylene. Third one is cross-linked polymers. Cross linkages, for example, what is that? Beckled resin. So Beckled resin is the cross linkages polymers. Best example for this. Next classification we will see here that they based on the polymerization. Yeah, of course, we know the complete definition of polymerization. What is that polymerization? The polymerization can be defined as it's a simple chemical reaction in which the monomers are same or different. And during the process of reaction, during the process of polymerization, or during the process of formation of a polymer, so what will happen here? So here, is there any, there will be a chance for the eliminating of a smaller molecules, and there will be a chance for the without eliminating of a smaller molecules, and finally it will lead to the formation of polymer, and which is called as polymerization. So based on the polymerization, again we can derive or we can classify the polymers in three different categories. One is the addition polymerization, condensation polymerization, or co-polymerization. What is that? Co-polymerization. So addition polymerization is nothing but your best example polyethylene and the compound which are unsaturated chemical compounds. For example, unsaturated chemical compounds are there completely involved in this addition polymerization. That is, what is the meaning of unsaturated chemical compounds? So unsaturated chemical compounds is nothing but the compounds which are consisting of double bonded compounds, triple bonded compounds, or alternative double bond compounds, which are called as unsaturated chemical compounds. And these type of unsaturated chemical compounds are there involving in this addition polymerization, and finally it will lead to the formation of a addition polymer. Second one, condensation polymerization. See, here very good examples we have discussed in addition polymerization. For example, polyethylene or Teflon or polyvinyl chloride, polybutadiene, yes, polyacetylene, which are consisting of which are derived from these monomers which are containing double bonded or triple bonded or alternative double bonded compounds. Okay, and next one is condensation polymerization. Just know we have discussed condensation polymerization is nothing but in the polymerization, the polymer is formed, a macromolecule is formed, or a giant molecule is formed by eliminating of smaller molecules from the monomers, and which are consisting of polar groups. And the polar groups are we are going to be eliminating as a smaller molecules. For example here, so H2O or CO2 or HCl or NaCl. So these are the smaller molecules or we are eliminating from the monomers which are containing polar groups. For example, OH group or Cl groups or any halogen groups. Yes, so these are the groups we are going to eliminating as smaller molecules, and finally it will lead to the formation of a strong polymer, a rigid polymer. And the polymers which are synthesized from the condensed polymerization, these are the polymers are very strong and very tough and very rigid. That's why, so these are the polymers are mostly used in textile industry. For example, nylon 6,6 or polyesters or what is that? Nylon 6 and nylon 6,6 and the polyester. These are the most important polymers we are using in textile industries. And next one classification is based on the monomers. Based on the monomers are same or different. If the monomers are, if you are using the same type of monomers, then it will lead to the formation of a homopolymer. If you use two different types of monomers, then it will lead to the formation of a copolymer. Co means different types of monomers are involving in the polymerization, and then finally it will lead to the formation of copolymer. And homopolymer is nothing but homo means same. And if the same type of monomers are, if you are using in the polymerization process, and then finally it will lead to the formation of a homopolymers. That's good. And this is one more the classification is done is based on the molecular forces. One is the elastomers and the fibers and the thermoplastics and thermosetting plastics. See, elastomers, usually the rubber-like compounds. Usually it is having some elasticity nature, and usually which is having some plasticity nature, and which are the weak interaction forces. A weak van der Waals forces are present in between the molecular chains. For example, here, rubbers. Next one is fibers, and these fibers are very strong, very tough, and very rigid, and it is having some more tensile strength, and at the same time, a strong attraction forces. Strong attraction forces are present in between the two molecular chains. Next one, thermoplastics resin and thermosetting plastics. These are the thermoplastics is nothing but the weak van der Waals forces are present in between these molecular chains, and the plastic materials which can be softened on heating and hardened on cooling. And these are the topics we will discuss in the coming classes in briefly. And thermosettings is nothing but these are the polymers greatly improve the materials mechanical properties. It provides enhanced chemical and heat resistance. For example, epoxy resins. So these are the some of the important classification is done based on the molecular forces. Good. Next one. So these are the types of polymerization. Just now we have discussed. One is the addition polymerization, and second one is the condensation polymerization. And here addition polymerization, and here the mechanism of free radical polymerization. Here addition, and as well as now we are going to discussing about the mechanism. What is a mechanism? Here mechanism, in order to understand about the polymerization process, that is addition polymerization process. First of all, you should know about how the monomers are going to be combining. So is there any bonds or breakages? Or is there any smaller molecules are eliminating? Or is there any or without any eliminating any smaller molecules are taking place? So in order to understand about a step-by-step process of polymerization, you need to know about the polymerization. Nothing but the polymerization is nothing but it is a step-by-step process of polymerization process. That is called as mechanism. And if you know this, if you know about the mechanism, you can know complete information about the how the process is going on, how the process which takes place for the formation of polymer. See now. First one, addition polymerization, or which is also called as free radical addition or free radical polymerization. In this addition polymerization, a polymer is formed which is exact multiple of the original monomeric molecules. Okay, one point you should remember, my dear students. In addition polymerization, only unsaturated chemical compounds are involving. Unsaturated chemical compounds are nothing but the monomers which are containing double bonded compounds, triple bonded compounds, or alternative double bonded compounds will participate in addition polymerization. So these are the monomers will combine together in the presence of temperature, in the presence of pressure, in the presence of catalyst, exactly a multiple of the original monomer, the molecule, a macromolecule will be formed. That is called as addition polymer. In this, the best example for this polyethylene. A polyethylene is a polymer which is derived or which is produced from ethylene, is nothing but this one is monomer. And here polyethylene is nothing but this one is polymer. So that, and this is the ethylene molecule. So we are taking here the n number of ethylene molecules are taking place. So that here the degree of polymerization is, n value is n, because the degree of polymerization we can represent it by n. So these ethylene molecules are which are undergoes in the presence of heat, in the presence of pressure, in the presence of catalyst. So a polyethylene, a macromolecule will be formed. So in order to do it is a simple a polyethylene polymer which is derived from the addition polymerization. So in order to understand about this addition polymerization, first of all, so we will go through the mechanism process. And this mechanism is consisting of, or this mechanism is going to be involved in three important steps. One is the initiation, and second one is the propagation, and third one is the termination. The addition polymerization, the mechanism of addition polymerization, which is involving in the three steps. First step is initiation, second step is propagation, and the third one is termination. So initiation is nothing but usually the initiators are we have to use. What are the best example for the initiators? What are the initiators means? The initiators are nothing but these initiators are, it will initiate the reaction. It will start the reaction. So to start the reaction, first of all, these initiators are, it will produce the free radicals. That is the reason here, addition polymerization we can call as free radical chain polymerization. So that, my dear students, here initiators, the best example for the initiators are, we can use hydrogen peroxides. Second one is benzoyl peroxides. These are the best familiar example for the initiators. So when these initiators are, when you are exposed to the sunlight, and these initiators are going to cleavage, here homolytic cleavage takes place in initiators, and finally it will form a free radicals. Here the free radicals acts as a initiators. So free radicals or cations or anions will be formed based on the type of the cleavage of the bond. If the homolytic cleavage of the bond it takes place, then it will lead to the formation of free radicals. If the heterolytic cleavage of the bond will takes place, then ions will be formed. That is, cations and anions will be formed. So based on the initiators, we will explain or we can understand about the polymerization process. So in this addition polymerization, we are using the initiators. So after cleavage of the initiators bond, then it will form a free radicals. And these free radicals are, you have to add to the monomers. So what is the monomer? Our unit is monomer is ethylene. Our monomer is ethylene. So initiators, you should add here monomers. Then what will happen here? So chain initiating species will be formed. This will be called as chain initiating will be formed. This we can call as chain initiating species. And if you are adding these free radicals to the starting materials, that is a monomer, then what will happen, Nana? Chain initiating species will be formed. Again, if you add one more mole of monomer to this chain initiating species, so what will happen? Automatically the chain will be growing. That's why, so here, so this step we can call as, Nana, what we call as propagation step. What is the meaning of propagation? The development of the chain. What is that? Development of the chain. And the chain automatically, step by step, the chain will be grow. That's why, so this step we can call as propagation. So automatically the chain will be growing up. And finally, termination. What's the meaning of termination? Termination, finally, we should stop the polymerization reaction. That is the reason the termination process we can explain by these two categories ways. One is the, coupling reaction. The coupling of a two-chain initiating species. Second one is disproportionation reaction. So what is meant by coupling reaction? Coupling reaction is nothing but in the propagation step, what will happen here? In the propagation step, what we discussed, the chain initiating species will be growing up. So by coupling reaction is nothing but initially you should take the two chain initiating species and you should combine with each other. What will you combine just a two chain initiating species, and there will be a chance to formation of new bond in between the two chain initiating species. Finally, so further in that polymer, there is reactive sites and there is no bonding sites in the polymer. So what will happening? The polymer is end. That dead polymer is formed. That we can call as coupling reaction. Second one is disproportionation reaction. What is meant by disproportionation reaction? You take one chain initiating species, a developed growing a chain initiating species, and here we can explain the disproportionation reaction. What is that? Transfer of a one hydrogen radical. What is that? Hydrogen atom. Transfer of one hydrogen atom of one chain initiating species to another chain initiating species. Okay? The disproportionation reaction we can define as the transfer of a one hydrogen atom from the one chain initiating species to the another chain initiating species. Transfer of one hydrogen atom, one hydrogen free radicals. We are transferring from one chain initiating species to the another chain initiating species. So that what will happen here? In the products, one straight chain polymer will be formed, dead polymer will be formed. One is the unsaturated dead polymer will be formed. One is the saturated dead polymer will be formed. Second one is the unsaturated dead polymer will be formed. And in this way, so we can stop the polymerization reaction. One is the coupling reaction and second one is the disproportionation reaction. So in this way, the free radical chain polymerization, because the free radicals it will initiate the polymerization reaction. That's why the addition polymerization we can explain, or we can also call as free radical chain polymerization. What is that? Free radical chain polymerization. Free radicals are involving automatically in the polymerization process. The chain of the polymeric chain is growing up. So this is one of the most important topic for this. What is that? Addition polymerization with suitable examples. In the next class, we will go through the condensation, polymerization, and with examples, and copolymerization with examples. Later, the plastics we will discuss in the next class. Thank you so much.